Hey everyone, today we're going to be taking a look at the new Evergoods and Carryology Griffin Collaboration, which is a set of wax canvas gear that includes the CTB26, the Civic Access Pouch 1 liter, and then a brand new product from Evergoods, the Civic Book Bag 22 liters, otherwise known as the CBB22. And I'm a big fan of Evergoods' products in general. I love wax canvas gear. I actually did a video recently on the previous iteration of the Griffin, which included the CPL24. I did a comparison with the Heritage GR1, so I'll include a link to that in the description below if you want to check it out. And so I was very excited when this collection was announced. And this is a first impressions video. I've actually just opened these up, loaded them out, worn them a little bit. So, I was just so excited to share them on the channel. I haven't gone through my normal testing period, but I wanted to just kind of answer some of the questions that were on my mind as I was reading through the articles and the website, show how they look while I'm wearing them, give a sense of what they can hold to hopefully help if you're kind of on the fence on picking one of the remaining items that are on the website up, or if you want to pick one of these up later on the secondhand market. Hopefully this video can kind of help make that choice a little bit easier. So excited to dive in. Before doing so, if you're new here, welcome. My name is Danny, and on this channel we love reviewing popular travel and everyday carry gear. If you like these types of videos and you'd be interested in seeing more, please consider subscribing, as it helps the channel out a lot. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and jump in. To start things off, I want to talk about some of the features that apply across all of the items in the collection. So here I have the CTB26, the CBB22. The Civic Access Pouch is inside one of these bags, so I'll take a closer look at that in a second. But they're all gonna have this really nice wax canvas exterior, which is the defining part of the collection, is this really great rugged fabric that is just something that's gonna hold up very well. I've had a great experience with the previous edition of the Griffin so far, and then with just the other wax canvas bags that I've used. This feels really high quality. And one of the cool things about this fabric is that it's going to develop a nice patina, marks. It's going to get personalized to you depending on how you use it, the more that you use it over time. So even when you receive the bag, you may notice that it'll have some marks right off the bat. And that's just to be expected with this style of bag. But in general, I really like the tan colorway that they have here. It feels fairly dark. And then they also had it in a camo colorway and in a blood orange or a red one. I don't remember the exact color, but those sold out a little bit more quickly, which is fine for me because this is definitely the color that I tend to really prefer. I think it looks fantastic. And then beyond that, you still have the very rugged YKK zippers all throughout. They work very smoothly. I like the zipper pulls that have been used as part of this collaboration. It's got this sort of leather material, very tactile. They look good. And then the bags have the collaboration patch, so the Griffin style here. This isn't included with the pouch. That one just has, the typical Evergoods Velcro area, but you get a patch with each backpack. And this looks great. It's got the, leather material, the Griffin artwork, and, the Evergoods and Carryology logos, which I really like. And then they both have handles. The CBB22 is gonna have just the one at the top, and then the CTB26 has one at the top, one on the side. They both have attachment points near the handles that you can use to clip on additional accessories with a carabiner. So always great to see. And I really like the material that's used on these collaboration versions, as the handles just feel a little bit softer and more comfortable than the ones on the regular editions of the bag. They just don't have those sharp edges that I've mentioned in some of my reviews. So I think that these feel absolutely fantastic. And then some of the differences here as far as kind of the exterior materials is just that the book bag actually has this leather accent at the bottom, which feels very rugged, premium. You can place the bag down. This is probably also going to get patina, scuffing, whereas you just have the wax canvas bottom on the CTB26. And so I'll go ahead and kind of walk through the individual bags just so you can get a better view of them and the loadouts. Again, this is just a first impressions video. I literally just grabbed whatever was near me in my desk and stuffed the bags out so you could see how they look like while they were full, while I was wearing them. And so CTB26 is, the aesthetic here is what you're familiar with from some of my other videos. So very subdued, versatile, great for traveling, just blending into a variety of settings. The 26 liter size for some people might be a little bit big for everyday carry. It's great for minimal travel. I've really enjoyed using this as a personal item bag on various different airlines and then using it as my EDC when I arrive. It is slightly bulky, but I think that it's a good trade-off, especially since the wax canvas material doesn't really feel that rigid. So if the bag's not as empty, it can kind of collapse into itself a little bit. And so, I think that it looks great for my size and height. And hopefully, maybe in the future, they'll release the CTB20 in a wax canvas. That would be really cool. And then for the collaboration, you still have the water bottle pockets, but the style here is a little bit different. So it doesn't have that typical Evergoods elastic material, which is, something that they do super well. So I'm glad to see that it's included here. I wish that there was maybe a little bit more elasticity. I know that that maybe isn't in keeping with the spirit of the materials of the bag. So you have a gusset here that allows it to expand. And then it's got these magnets that help keep it in place when you're not using this pocket so that it's not just hanging out awkwardly. So great to see that little touch there. This will still be able to hold, the 20-ounce water bottle that I typically use, maybe the 26, it could squeeze in there. It'll start to kind of push up against the items in the main area. So still great to have them. And then taking a look at the harness system, lots of similarities here to many of the other Evergoods bags that I feature on the channel. So good padding here. You've got the wax canvas material all throughout, so you don't have the breathable material that Evergoods has been using in some of their bags, which is a little bit sad to see. But in general, these straps feel pretty comfortable just upon my first impression. Same type of padding. You still have the pass-throughs for the hydration bladder. You've got an adjustable and removable sternum strap that's included. The straps contour over your shoulders as Evergoods bags do. And then the back paneling, I know a lot of people were asking about what the material was going to be here. Wax canvas, so again, not breathable. I have only been wearing this for a bit. I haven't noticed any issues with material kind of getting on my clothes. It's felt comfortable enough. This is something that's not going to be very breathable, so I'm fully expecting my back to get very sweaty as I'm wearing this. You do have padding, a little bit of air channels here, but in general, I'm just kind of planning to feel that this is going to get very sweaty, particularly living in a hot climate. And then you still have the great luggage pass-through that the CTB26 have. And the layout, of course, is one of my favorites of any. So you still have the quick access pocket on the front, a great amount of volume here. I have the Civic Access Pouch ½ liter, which fits in there. You can start to see the really bright orange interior, which is, of course, very distinctive of the collaborations. You have pocket on the front with the built-in organization, good volume here for something like my alpaca admin pouch. You have the slip pocket, pen slot, nothing different here, little lanyard with the clip. And then at the top, the other quick access pocket, which I absolutely love, great for sunglasses. I have a retractable USB-C cable, so nothing super different there. And then laptop area, similar implementation, great padding as far as the padded sleeve, suspended, good for a 16-inch laptop. You have the Velcro strap. Again, bright orange interior, access to the frame sheet. I still even have the tag on this. Like I said, literally just took all these things out and started using them. And then you have the clamshell main compartment, which is able to hold, minimal travel setup very comfortably. So I have packable rain jacket, I have my Beats headphones, and then my larger compressible packing cube. So very easy to fit those. And there's tons of videos that I've done where I've walked through the loadouts. If you want to see them in a little bit more detail, you have the sleeve on the back, a couple of rows of webbing, and then of course the zippered mesh pocket here at the bottom. Great volume. This is something that will be able to handle something like the Civic Access Pouch, 1 liter. That's just the regular one. And then you have the collaboration patch here in this nice leather material and an additional zippered pocket, a little bit of built-in organization, and just have a little HDMI cable there. So yeah, nothing crazy different here from the typical CTB26. And then I'm sure that, like me, many were very curious to see what it would be like to load out the CBB22, what it would look like while wearing it, and just the general form factor. So it's got the very kind of classic book bag style silhouette, which I'm a fan of. I featured a couple of different bags on the channel, and it's something that just always, feels good to wear. I remember using bags like this in school, and so great to see it modernized with Evergoods as sort of rugged materials, their design language. I think that the aesthetic feels excellent, particularly in the wax canvas. The heritage vibe that it gives is just super cool in my opinion. Feels like the book bag that Indiana Jones might use. I feel like I've heard a couple of people say that. And so this feels like something that will blend in very well into any environment that you take it, whether you're going to school, exploring a city, going on adventures like Evergoods showed in the promotional videos for it. And then, we already kind of walked through the materials a little bit, so I won't linger on that. As far as the size, 22 liters, is a really great daily bag size in my opinion. This was able to hold what I would expect a 22 liter bag to hold, and it doesn't feel overwhelmingly big or bulky. And it does stick out a little bit with the front pocket because it has volume and it's just the style of the bag. But overall, the silhouette never felt overwhelmingly bulky. So, it's something that felt like it would be very easy to use for navigating crowded areas, jumping on a public transit, carrying onto a variety of domestic and international airlines. And then the harness here is what we saw on the CTB26. They're very similar as far as the style. The padding here is the same, no breathable materials. You have the sternum strap that's included. You have the contouring here around your shoulders, which is great to see on this style of bag. And then the back panel, it's got the padding, but not the breathable material. No luggage pass-through on this one. And then even though this bag has this sort of rigid bottom with the leather, I found that it didn't stand up too consistently, which I was a little sad to see. So, that's something to keep in mind. You may have to lean this up against wherever you're sitting if you want to place it down. And then the organization here, it's got a nice variety without going overboard. So you have a similar quick access pocket at the top, able to hold my sunglasses. Even the bulkier ones fit in there. I still have the tag on this one as well. And then front quick access pocket works nicely, good volume. This is where I was actually able to store the Civic Access Pouch 1 liter. And it's kind of a perfect companion there. I'll take a closer look at this in a second. But inside here, just a nice amount of volume for other sort of pouches and larger accessories that you might be carrying with you. I have a headlamp in here. There's a couple of slip pockets on the back. So in one of them, I have my Apple Magic Mouse. Then I have a headlamp in this middle section. And then all the way on the right, there's a smaller one that'll be good for a flashlight or a pen. And then you also have a little lanyard with a clip similar to some of the other Evergoods bags that we've looked at. And then taking a look at the main area, you can use this as a top loader if you don't want to open it all the way. Just grab something from here when you need it, but you do have the ability to open this up all the way. And so that to me always feels like it gives you a little bit of extra space. And at the moment I have it loaded out with kind of more of a packing cube setup. I just threw in a bunch of items to try to fill it out. Here you can start to see that pouch from the top kind of poke in if you fill it up. And then diving in, I just have the Civic Access Pouch, half liter. I have the Lockbee pouch that I've been using a lot recently. It's kind of a perfect companion to this bag. So definitely recommend checking this one out if you're looking for an alternative to something like the Civic Access Pouch 1 liter. Then I have a packing cube from Patagonia, similar style to the packing cubes that Evergoods sells, as far as just being able to open up flat. And then I have the Peak Design, smaller compressible packing cube, and all of those items fit in there very comfortably. Now you can get a better look at the inside and the bright lining. And this was the biggest question for me as I was looking at the promotional materials, was the laptop sleeve, because the way that it was described on the site, I was wondering if it was going to be more like the CHZ22, which has a sleeve that's padded, or more like the MPL line, which has this sort of a softer sleeve. It is not that rigid, so I was a little disappointed when I saw this, because it does, have a soft elastic material, and it's a little bit pulled up off the bottom of the ground, but it's not really going to be the best laptop protection, especially compared to some of Evergoods' other bags. I mean, the CPL24, the CHZ, and the CTB all have some of my favorite laptop compartments. This being closer to the MPL22, it'll get the job done. You can fit a laptop in there comfortably, and it'll offer some level of protection with the frame sheet and a little bit of distance from the bottom. It's not like your laptop is making contact super hard. It's just not going to be that protected, in my opinion. So definitely would think about maybe using an additional case with it, or just maybe looking at one of Evergoods' other bags if the laptop protection is critical for you. I would have loved to have seen a sleeve again like the CHZ, or even like the PLC20. That one was one that was integrated into the main area, and it still had good padding, good elevation. So unfortunately that's something that I just wish had been a little different. I don't know if that's what will be part of the line, if this ever makes its way to Evergoods' primary lineup. And just something for y'all to keep in mind depending on what your needs are. But it's there. It's not going to take up a lot of space, and you still have something. And then on the other side, you have one zippered pocket. Nothing here in this section of the bag, which I was a little bit surprised by. You have some of the space, but I suppose it makes sense to keep things a little simpler. You have the patch again here, and then the zippered pocket with a good amount of volume. Here I was able to hold my GoPro, and I also have an extra cable. And so good bit of volume there. And so yeah, pretty simple layout overall, nice amount of space. This silhouette is always classic, and it's great to see it modernized like this, and it's still gonna be a really interesting option even though the laptop protection isn't exactly what I would like to see. And then the last thing we're gonna take a look at is the Civic Access Pouch. And so here I have the regular edition and the Collaboration edition. The biggest difference here is gonna be, besides the fabric, which is wax canvas, so it matches nicely with the bags, and it has the orange interior, is the opening mechanism. And I know this was another choice that was interesting because these magnets are super popular on Evergoods' bag. It makes it super quick to access this when you need to. They feel secure, and so it's a great system. With this, you have an interesting paracord closure, which I get the idea is that the aesthetic feels a little bit more vintage. It matches up with this style of envelope. I've used these in the past, and there's something about it that looks very cool. So I will definitely concede that. And it works pretty well. In some ways it might even be more flexible than the magnets. I always was worried that if I had this too filled out that I couldn't get the magnets to secure. This provides you, this length of paracord, and then you can kind of adapt it depending on how you want to tighten it. Now, this can take a little longer to open and close. It's not like crazy long. You can just loop it around quickly, and you can do cross pattern here. There's a couple of different ways that you can handle this. I'll be curious to see how this thin paracord holds up over the longer term. I'm a little bit worried that at some point it might tear or something like that. I suppose you could do some level of repairs. I've never had issues with Evergoods' products, so I'm willing to trust them, but it just doesn't inspire the same level of confidence as the magnets. And then on the inside, nothing really super different here. Still have the tag on, but I'll probably be taking all these tags off here in a little bit. I have the patch here, same as the bags, and then the layout is the same. You have the loop in the middle for a pen or a stylus, and then a very bright orange interior. I know not everybody is crazy about that. I've kind of fallen into the camp of it, would like to see something a little different than the bright orange. I know that that's part of the collaborations, but with the wax canvas editions, it feels like maybe there's another color that could potentially match up. But regardless, it is very functional as far as just being bright and very contrasty against the darker items that might be in these pouches. And then of course, Civic Access Pouch 1 liter does a good job of providing these flexible compartments that expand out depending on what you're carrying. I just threw in a couple of bulkier accessories there to kind of expand it out. And then if you're not carrying as much, it can flatten. And then with this loop, you can tighten it based on what you're carrying and how flat you want it to get. And you can see there, it's just a little bit more cumbersome than the magnets, but it gets the job done. So, I really like just the aesthetic and the layout and how it pairs with the bags. That alone, for me, it's worth it. But, your mileage may vary. There's still gonna be the magnet regular version of the pouches that'll be worth considering. So, overall, really enjoying my first kind of go around with these accessories from the collaboration. I'm sure I'll be posting updates on Instagram and, maybe some upcoming videos featuring these bags. I'm not sure if I'm gonna do dedicated reviews or not for them. If that's something that you'd like to see, let me know, but I'm sure they will make their way into some of my roundup videos and other things that I have planned. And yeah, I think that it's a really cool collaboration. If you like wax canvas and you like Evergoods' products, and there's still some available, definitely recommend you give them a shot. And so that's it. Those are some of my first impressions on the new Evergoods Griffin collaboration. Hopefully this video was helpful. At the time of filming, there's still a couple of these available on Evergoods' site in the tan colorway that I featured in the video. If you want to check them out, I'm not sure if all the items are still there, but it's pretty rare that any of them are available given that the collaboration is past. They usually go very quickly, so great to see Evergoods having some extra stock this time around so that more people can experience these awesome bags. As far as the pricing, with the collaborations and wax canvas, it's usually going to be a little bit more premium than the regular versions, and that was definitely the case, so you can check those prices out on the site. You are getting very solidly built bags. You get a lot of value for that price point, and it's just something that comes again with the territory for these rarer, more special edition bags. And, if you want to check out some of Evergoods' other alternatives, particularly for the CBB22, since this is so new, it reminded me of some of the items in Evergoods' lineup. The CHZ22 is pretty similar as far as the size. One of the nice things about that is that it's got the dual external water bottle pockets. I also like the laptop sleeve on that a little bit more. It just feels more protective and padded. There's also the MPL22, which is, panel loader. It's got the dual external water bottle pockets. It's got more of an outdoorsy hiking vibe, but still just a very versatile bag. It's gonna give you some extra organizational options. And then if you're a fan of the CTB26 and you wanna check it out in the nylon editions, those are great. I have a couple of different videos that I've done talking about that bag. And there's the CTB20 now, which there's probably going to be a pre-order soon on the site. I hopefully will be able to pick it up and feature it on the channel. But just lots of great options to consider. And then of course the CPL24 continues to hold up well year after year. And then I'll be looking to do potentially some longer term reviews of these, given that this is just a first impression. So let me know in the comments if you'd be curious to see, both of these, the pouch, or if there's one specifically that you'd be really curious to see a little bit of a longer term, more in-depth review on. If there's things that I didn't cover, let me know. And I'll also be looking to do some roundup videos where I maybe cover some of my favorite wax canvas bags and some of my favorite book bag style bags. It got me thinking after using this one of some of the other similar style bags that I've really enjoyed, like the Baboon to the Moon City Pack, the Brevity Jumper. So, this is a form factor that I think people are very excited about, and I'll be curious to, do some more videos on it and get some thoughts. And if there's any other, new releases that are coming out in the next few months that you're excited to see on the channel, if you have any suggestions for items that are similar to these, as always, please let me know in the comments. And I want to thank you for watching and supporting the channel. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like, and if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any upcoming videos, and we'll see you in the next one.